All right, it is time to predict the Minnesota Vikings practice squad 2022. All right, welcome back to Onebar and Lupagus Show. I am Lupagus, and it's time. Minnesota Vikings have set the 53-man roster. Yes, some things could still change. Some players could still come. Some could still go. But today we'll find out the Minnesota Vikings' new practice squad. 10 players will be kept under that protective umbrella that is the practice squad. We're going to figure out who those guys are in this video today. Before we do that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids. Drop hashtag LiftBridge in the comments for your chance to win one of two LiftBridge gift cards to their online store, $50 value on both of those. So hashtag LiftBridge. We'll pull that here probably next couple of days. So we're doing one of those every single month. All right, so Minnesota Vikings, we said it. They cut down to 53. Some surprises, some not so surprising moves, but the roster is taking shape. It's done, and now they got to figure out the practice squad. So let's take a look at who could be on the practice squad. And I didn't try to go around and predict who from some other team the Vikings may be interested in. Yes, they may sign some guys before they hit waivers. I'm hoping they put claims on like a Tyler Johnson, the receiver. We'll see what happens. But most teams tend to stick with guys they've been working with. So I'm going off that assumption that the Vikings are going to pick 10 guys that they know, 10 guys they're familiar with, and 10 guys they probably didn't even want to cut in the first place. So let's start. I'm going to start here with outside linebacker, not offensive linebacker, outside linebacker, Janarius Robinson. Let go in the first cuts, I believe it was on cut day. And, a guy who really was in his rookie year, he missed all of last season with an injury. He had training camp. I think he got through most of that last year before he was put on IR. Janarius Robinson, still, when you're a 3-4 defense, you cannot have enough pass rushers. Why not have a guy like Janarius Robinson on your practice squad? I'm sticking on defense. Got another linebacker. This guy on the inside, or maybe he's outside too. Zach McLeod, depending where you read about him. They have him both places. This was the guy they gave the most money to as an undrafted free agent. Did show some flashes in camp. I think they like this guy. I think they're going to keep him around. Another linebacker I kept, William Kweneku. Again, a guy, a good special teams guy. Maybe if you get someone hurt, you bring in William Kweneku in to add some depth to your special teams. Again, you look at the inside linebacker depth on this team. Troy Dye really doesn't get anybody excited. Brian Asamoah is going to be a stud. And obviously, you love the two starters, but a guy like William Kweneku could actually be called on at some point in the season if someone gets hurt. And again, I think he was down to one of the final cuts this year, so maybe the Vikings do like this guy. All right, let's jump over to another offensive. Actually, we're going to hit the first offensive position. That's guard Kyle Hinton. Kyle Hinton, a guy I thought actually might make the team. He was kind of trending upwards toward the end of camp. Had some good games against the Niners and Broncos. I thought he had an outside shot to actually make this team. Kyle Hinton, yes, they purged a lot of the Mike Zimmer era, especially that 2021 draft class. But Kyle Hinton, a guy who looked good. I actually think he was the 2020 class. He's been around so long. So I think he does get on the practice squad, and maybe a guy they do call on at some point in the season if someone gets hurt or someone really struggles. And then I think I was struggling. I was going back and forth. Do they keep Zach Davidson on the practice squad, or do they go with this guy? And I think when it all comes down to it, how do you not take Nick Muse? He's their guy. They went out, they drafted Nick Muse. I know he's a 7th round pick, but I still think that's enough. Zach Davidson, yes, he got an upside, lot potential. Had drops last year, had drops this year. Zach Davidson, maybe not the most reliable hand. So I think they do go with Muse. They might keep them both, but Zach Davidson last year when the team cut him, he was shocked and outraged. So I don't know. We'll see. This is the one I'm torn on. Call me Natalie Imbruglia on that. I also have him keeping defensive lineman Jalen Twyman, practice squad, a guy who had some nice moments in camp this year, looked good, especially against the Raiders, but then he kind of struggled later. Again, a guy who's really going through his rookie season here. Missed all of last year, was on the IR, got shot, tragic event there. So I do think he gets put on the practice squad, develop this guy. I think there's still plenty of upside when it comes to Jalen Twyman. Let's go back to offense here. Wide receiver Patricia Jackson, a guy I really thought was going to make the 53-man roster. Good speed, ran some good routes, looked good in a lot of the practices. He kind of did have some issues. I think he had a really, really bad drop against the Broncos. But again, it's a guy I thought played well enough, practiced well enough to make this team. He was let go, but I think they definitely get him on the practice squad. Another wide receiver, Meyer Mitchell, a guy we were hearing a lot of good things about in the practice notes that were coming out. Didn't really show, didn't translate in the actual games, but again, a guy who showed plenty of upside. You only have 5 receivers on the roster right now. If you have 2 on the practice squad, you can make adjustments, get some of those active on game day. So Meyer Mitchell, I think he's going to come back in purple. I don't think his purple story is over yet. This next one's kind of a shocker for me. I was going through this, and I was going to go Wyatt Davis here, but I just how they were so quick to purge so many players from that draft. Wyatt Davis being one of them. I think they go with the guy that they brought in. I think they maybe keep Josh Sokol, the center. Another reason for this is Garrett Bradbury's so bad. Schlottman did look pretty good as the number 2. You got Chris Reed. So if for some reason Bradbury, just sucks and they bump somebody else up and then they want to try someone else late in the season, I think Josh Sokol, a center, is who they keep over a guard like Wyatt Davis. So I think Sokol may come back. And his name's so damn close to Skol. Keep your Sokol in your hole. So I think that definitely helps too. Then the last one, this one is going to get a lot of people pissed off. You might think, why would they do this? But I hate it. But I think they're actually going to keep Sean Mannion on this practice squad. I really do. I think Kirk Cousins likes him, likes to have him around, likes to hear his opinions on whatever defenses they're facing in the coming week. And I think this coaching staff is done with Kellen Mond. I think they've seen enough. And I think they're just going to draft their own young quarterback next year, so you can let Kellen Mond go. And I hate to say it, but I really think they're going to actually keep Sean Mannion on this practice squad. As sick as this makes me feel, and as sick as it makes me look, I think Sean Mannion is going to be on this practice squad. So those are 10 guys I think the Vikings will sign to the practice squad. Let me know where I'm wrong, where I'm right. Who else you got making it? There's a couple guys. Could go either way. I was really struggling with here, but that's the 10. I think it's going to be. I hate to put Sean Mannion on there, but I had to do it, and I did it. And if you got a problem with it, that's something you got to live with. But if you have a problem with it, that's fine. But one thing I don't have a problem with is you keeping your skull in your